Hey, have you ever felt like you're just not getting the most out of AI? You're definitely not alone. The real secret isn't about knowing how to code. It's about knowing how to ask. Today, we're diving into prompt engineering, the skill that really unlocks AI's true power. Let's get into it.
So let's just start with that big question. We all hear about these incredible AI tools that are changing the world, but what's the actual secret to making them work for you? It's not about being a programmer or some kind of data wizard. It's way, way simpler than that.
The whole secret comes down to this one word, the prompt. You can just think of it as how we talk to an AI. It's any instruction, any question, any bit of text we feed into the machine to tell it what we want. This is the absolute foundation of how we communicate with these amazing new tools.
Okay, so when we're using tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, what are we really talking to? Well, the answer is something called a large language model, or LLM for short.
The easiest way to think of an LLM is as a giant brain that's been trained on a massive library of books, articles, websites, basically a huge chunk of the internet. It doesn't think like we do, but it's gotten incredibly good at predicting the next most logical word in a sentence. Our prompt is just the starting point that guides its predictions, and that's how we get it to generate answers, write stories, or even solve problems for us.
So this brings us to the main event, prompt engineering. Now, don't let that word engineering intimidate you. Seriously, this isn't about building bridges or writing crazy complex code. It's simply about mastering the art of asking.
At its core, prompt engineering is just the skill of designing your instructions to be so clear and so effective that you get exactly what you're looking for, hopefully on the first try. Getting this right saves a ton of time, it cuts down on all that trial and error, and it just leads to much better, more creative, and way more accurate results from the AI.
So what does a good prompt actually look like in practice? Well, the single most important rule is clarity. Let's take a look at how just a little bit of specificity can completely change the entire outcome.
And this brings us to a really crucial rule. You have to be literal. The AI isn't going to guess what you mean or try to read between the lines. Just think of it like a brilliant but very literal assistant that follows your instructions exactly to the letter.
Let's use a super simple analogy. If you tell your friend, hey, bring me some food, what are you going to get? I mean, who knows? It's a total crapshoot, right? It could be anything. But if you say, bring me a cheese pizza with olives, you're going to get a cheese pizza with olives. That's the level of precision an AI needs.
And this applies perfectly to how we talk to AI. A vague prompt like, tell me about space, is just, it's lost in a whole universe of information. But when you give it a clear, specific target, like telling it the exact topic, the format you want, and the audience you're writing for, it can zero right in and deliver exactly what you need.
So the most important thing to remember is this. The quality of your output is directly tied to the quality of your input. It's that simple. Your instructions are the blueprint for the AI's response. A clear blueprint gets you a well-built house. A vague one, well, you get a mess.
Okay, so we get it. We need to be specific, but what elements of our prompt can we actually control? Well, there are 3 key levers you can pull to totally shape the AI's response. Let's call it your personal prompting toolkit.
First up is tone. Do you need a funny, casual tweet or a really formal, professional report? You just have to tell it. Next is detail. You can ask for a quick 2-sentence summary or a multi-paragraph deep dive. And finally, and this one is really powerful, you can define the perspective. Try asking the AI to respond as a skeptical scientist or an encouraging coach or, even a pirate. Mastering these 3 things gives you just incredible control over the final output.
All right, so now that we know how to do it, the next big question is, who actually needs to learn this stuff? Is this just for tech people? The answer is a huge, definitive no.
This skill isn't for just one type of task. You can use prompt engineering to help you write an essay, to finally understand a complex topic like, say, math, to plan out your entire next vacation, to write and even fix computer code, or to generate some really creative marketing ideas. The possibilities are they're endless.
And this is exactly why it's a skill for everyone. It doesn't matter what you do for a living or what your background is. From an elementary school student learning something new, to a PhD researcher analyzing data, to a professional working in healthcare or marketing, learning how to effectively communicate with AI is becoming a truly fundamental skill.
And you want to know the best part? You don't need any special qualifications to get started. Mastery in prompt engineering really comes from just one thing: practice. It's all about trial and error.
The more you play with it, the more you experiment with different prompts, the more intuitive it's all going to become.
And that brings us to this final, really powerful idea. Look, you can watch videos and read guides all day long, but nothing beats your own hands-on experience. The best way to learn is to simply open up an AI tool and just start asking questions about things you're actually curious about.
So, the real question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you have the key, what doors are you going to unlock? What problems will you solve? What ideas will you explore? And what will you create? The power is officially in your hands. Now go create something amazing.